In this video, we'll show you how to replace the high-pressure fuel pump on your 3.5 EcoBoost F-150. This is located in the front of the vehicle and on top of the engine. Let's get started. We need to relieve the fuel pressure from the system. To do that, we've raised and supported the vehicle, and we're back underneath the spare tire. Up on the frame, we have the fuel pump control module connector. We can unplug that. Now that it's stalled out and won't start again, we know that we've depressurized the fuel system. We'll remove the negative terminal using an 8mm. Just loosen that up. Give the terminal a wiggle. We'll pop that off and set it to the side. It's good to place a rag over the terminal. Make sure that the negative cable can't make contact. We need to remove the engine cover. To do that, we'll go ahead and remove the oil cap. Pull up on the engine cover. Pull towards the front of the vehicle. We can set that off to the side and reinstall the oil cap. Now we can remove the insulator covering our fuel pump. Here we have our high pressure fuel pump. We can see we have a hard line coming out of it this way that comes down, and we have a bracket with an 8mm nut. We'll go ahead and remove that. We have another 8mm bolt towards the front of the engine from that, holding another bracket. Go ahead and remove that as well. Now we can go ahead and loosen up the flare nut, holding on the high pressure line. I'm going to wrap a rag around here just to catch any residual fuel that may come out. To loosen the flare nut, we'll use a 17mm wrench. Now we can release our quick disconnect. We have a small tab right here. You can press down on that, just like an electrical connector. Pick up on that. And then we can go ahead and turn that around. As you can see, that goes down. Pinch in one side and push up. Turn it the other way, pinch in the other side. Pull that up, and you should be able to pop off the line. Now that we have the lines disconnected, we can go ahead and remove the bolts holding the pump in. Removing these bolts, you want to only turn them one turn at a time each, going back and forth to slowly bring this up. With the bolts removed, we can pull the pump out, and that'll give us access to the bottom part of the electrical connector. We press in on the tab, pull that out. You always want to check your terminals for any corrosion or damage. These look okay. Our high fuel pressure pump is actuated by the camshaft. That means we need to turn the motor over in order to get the camshaft to sit at the lowest point so we can install our fuel pump. We have the vehicle raised and supported. I'm using an 18mm with a long extension on my 1/2-inch ratchet. And we're just going to turn the engine over until we see the lobe go down to the lowest point. Sometimes it'll be a little hard to turn. That's when it's hitting compression. You'll feel it free up and turn a little easier. So that should be bottom right there. We can go ahead and remove the rag. Get our pump lined up. If either of your lines are in the way, just move that out of the way. Now we can install our hardware. We'll get both of these snugged down. You want to bring them down together. You don't want to tighten one down before the other. Just lightly bring each one down. Now we can torque these to 15 foot-pounds. Go ahead and get the quick disconnect hose on. Push the blue tab down. Make sure both sides lock into place, and then lock the bottom piece into the other side. Make sure that can't pull off. And once that's on, we can thread on our high pressure hose. I'll tighten down our high pressure hose. You want to be cautious not to over tighten this, but you do want it to be tight since you don't want this to leak fuel. And with both the lines on, we can plug in our electrical connector. Make sure that's seated all the way down and is not going to pull back out. Now we can get the hardware for our high pressure line in. Same as the other hardware, I'm going to get both of these started in and then we can tighten them down. These two bracket bolts don't need to be very tight, so be cautious when tightening them down. Now we can install the fuel pump insulator, and we can reinstall the engine cover. We'll remove the oil cap. There's two tabs towards the back of the engine. Slide the grommets of the engine cover into that and set it down around where the oil cap goes. Make sure to reinstall your oil cap. Now we can go ahead and plug the connector back in for the fuel pump module. Make sure that's fully seated and doesn't want to pull back out. Install our negative terminal. We can snug that down with an 8mm. This doesn't need to be too tight, just enough that it won't move. With the fuel pump module plugged back in, we can go ahead and cycle the key a few times to prime the fuel pumps. We'll wait 3 to 5 seconds, and we'll cycle the key again. We'll do this 3 or 4 times, and then you can go ahead and try and start the engine. If the engine won't start or starts and stalls out, repeat the process of priming the engine by cycling the key. Take the vehicle for a test drive and make sure everything seems okay.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.